Hey, what's up everybody, Axel here. So today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and the point of this video is to talk about our Axel B medal. So let's go ahead, just jump right in. So this Axel B medal is going to have a multiplier range of 1.72 to 3.2, which is going to be based on where it is in your Keyblade setup. It has a cost of 1, which is really good because it's really low. The trade-off to having all this power is that it is random target. So that means if you go into a group of enemies and you have 1 speed, 1 magic, 1 power, this medal could accidentally crash all its attacks into the magic enemy, dealing the lowest amount of damage it could possibly do. However, the reverse situation exists where you could be going into an enemy and it's just one enemy and it's going to be a green enemy. Let's say it's like a black copter fleet. That's a good example of one. So this medal could be really good or really bad based on your situation. Same goes for the multiplier. It could be really good or really bad. So let's say you're using this medal only to buff. In that case, whatever the multiplier is doesn't matter because you're using it to buff, you're using it for the 3 tiers of power. This was more or less a free medal if you were able to get it. So having a buffer that's free is really good, especially one that raises power strength by 3 tiers for a full turn instead of just temporary like Maui. Maui would be a good example because it only does 3 tiers, I believe, for only 3 attacks, including itself, so you only really got 2 good attacks out of that. But this one does it for the whole turn, which is really good. The thing is, even if you use it in the last slot, if you were able to guilt it, it still comes out to a really high multiplier. For example, let's say we put it in our Fenrir 4th slot. You know, it wouldn't be getting that full, what is it, like ×7 multiplier that it would be if it was in the 1st slot, but it still would be getting like ×4, which is really good. Considering that I don't have a lot of reverse red medals that also buff, to have this guilted would be really good for me. I would consider throwing it in that 4th slot to replace my PsyXB, mainly because the way that the format is going for this game is that every medal in your Keyblade rotation should buff. So this would kind of fill that gap for me. It would be a good candidate in my opinion for that 4th slot. For some of you guys who have like Cloud EX, who use Key Art 6 or the Shark, and have extra attack on them or something like that, this is going to be pretty much irrelevant for you because those are better medals that have better effects. But for me, I don't really have something like that, so having Axel B is really good. So let's go ahead and just trait roll our Axel B. So what are we looking for in terms of traits? We are looking, in my case specifically, I am looking for extra attack. And that's because, again, I don't use the Shark, I don't use Key Art 6, I don't use HD Beast, etc. So having extra attack on this would instantly jump me to that ×7 power buff when I use it with my 0.2 Kairi. So that's what I'm hoping for. In terms of other traits that are really good, damage and raids would be really good because once you knock out all the limbs, this medal focuses all its attacks on that one enemy, meaning you'd be getting the full amount of damage going into that one enemy. Another good trait would be one of the -60 skills, again for the same reason, because when you go into an enemy, if it's really powerful, it's very likely you're only fighting one of them. So going into, like, again, Black Gummy Copter Fleet, if you have Aerial -60 on this, that would be really good. So I'm hoping for extra attack, if not extra attack, hoping for that Aerial -60, and if not that Aerial -60, then damage and raids would also be good. So let's go ahead and roll for our first trait. So it is a special attack bonus campaign, meaning that the random guilt range has decreased from 40 to 100 to 70 to 100. So I kind of want to speed through this really quickly. Unfortunately, we got Sleep Resist as our first trait, which kind of stinks. Nuts. Okay, well that's our first one. We still got a few more to go through. So let's go ahead and second trait roll here. Again, we are aiming for extra attack. If not extra attack, Aerial -60, and if not that, then damage and raids plus 40%. Oh man, defense plus 2000. No, not a Not a good skill for this, or not a good trait for this medal. Alright, so there's 2 tries down. Here's our third one, and let's go ahead and just throw the experience on this guy so that we can evolve him. Alright, so here we go. Third roll. We have 3 more after this. Let's hope we can get one of those 3 skills. There are only 11 skills, so, you know, the percentage is still pretty high. Ground enemy defense minus 60. I can dig it. Okay, so let's go ahead and replace that defense plus 2,000 with ground minus 60. Nice. All right. And then we have to evolve him. All right, there we go. So there's our 6-star Axel B medal. Let's go ahead, jump to our other Axel B. If we could find it, here it is. Okay. So here is our 4th trait roll. So aerial is better in this case. Aerial minus 60 is better than ground because you do fight a lot of speed enemies that are in the air, like invisibles. Again, the copter fleets. Extra attack. Nope. We're done. Nope. This is it. We are throwing extra attack onto our Axel B medal because this is... Oh, gosh. No, this is actually a really hard call. Oh, man. That... Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Okay. This is a tough call. This is a really tough call. Because the minus 60 traits are just so good, and I roll into them so infrequently. But I roll into extra attack even less frequently than that, so... Gosh, I don't know. Alright, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes from here. Damage and raids. We got all the good traits for this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to say extra attack is better for my specific case. And that's because the way this medal works out is that the multiplier gets weaker the later it's used. So I'm thinking about how many Keyblades have a reversed red early on in their rotation. Pretty much the only thing I could think of that comes to mind is the Dark Gnaw and the Treasure Trove. I don't really use Treasure Trove. I might be using Dark Gnaw based on... Oh, this is hard. You know what? I think in this case I have to stick to my guns and keep the extra attack. Okay, so we are going to evolve this. Oh, that was kind of painful, to be honest. We are going to evolve this with our extra attack on it. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm making the right choice, keeping extra attack, because, again, with the scaling damage, it's less relevant to use this as a damage-pushing medal. So we're going to go ahead, keep the extra attack, because extra attack, that makes this instantly a ×6 power buffer, which is really, really good for just 1 gauge. So we're going to go ahead, stick with our extra attack. Is this the one with extra attack on it? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do this like we always do it. Let's put in 2 here, and then throw in our Axel, and then 2 more here. Perfect. Okay, so it is still the special attack bonus campaign for 12 minutes. So let's go ahead and roll for our guilt. I just got to make sure this is the one with extra attack. This is the one I want to keep. And you should be the ground minus 60. Okay. See, how come I can't get this lucky when I do other ones? All right, here we go. So we roll for guilt after it finishes this animation. And our guilt comes out to... It comes out to a perfect 100% on the first go. That's pretty sweet, guys. I'm glad I was able to get that on recording. I was really thinking about not recording this one since a lot of people already did their Axel B stuff. But I'm really glad I did. And, oh, we still get a trait roll. What is it going to be? Ground minus 60. Ah, it's like it's calling me to put it back on there. But, you know, this medal, again, the damage gets lower. So let's go ahead, stick with our extra attack. Skip out on that ground minus 60, which really hurts because I very rarely get those minus 60 skills. So here is our Axel B medal. And it just looks awesome. Axel is a fantastic character, and I'm really excited to see him in future games. But man, this was a good guilt and trait roll video. I'm really glad that it came out this way. So let's go ahead and take a look at our equipment. So that's our counterpoint. You know, I think the Stroke of Midnight has a reverse red slot. Yeah, there it is. All right. Well, I wouldn't put Axel B on there because it's the last medal, meaning you'd want to do a lot of damage, so I wouldn't put it there. Where's our Fenrir? Again, that 4th slot is pretty much the best candidate in my opinion. And then let's take a look at... I'm not concerned about Dark Now right now because I want to pretty much get it to max level just like I did the other ones. Do it all in one go. But on our Treasure Trove, it's the 2nd slot. So yeah, so the 2nd slot in Treasure Trove, pretty much any of the other power ones like Fenrir, Dark Gnaw, those are going to be good candidates for this for this medal. Guys, I'm flustered because of how good that was. So let's go ahead. The 1st slot is what I use for my normal setups. So let's go ahead and throw our Axel. I think if I had to choose where to put Axel, I'll have to mull it over more. I'll have to see, but having extra attack on it also makes it really good for Proud Mode missions. So those are all my thoughts on Axel B. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to throw them in the comments below, and I will try my best to get to them as soon as I can. My schedule does get busy as of this week, unfortunately, so I won't be able to do a lot of YouTubing. But if you guys have any specific questions, shoot me a message. If you have any sort of in-game questions you want to see if I can answer or make a video for, just like that damage in raids one or the ground aerial -61, again, throw me a message. I'll see if I can do it. And that's it. Until the next video, guys, take it easy.